Today we're gonna try and pull the transmission on the IS. I've got a last minute kind of track event, road course event actually, next week, and the clutch started slipping yesterday. So I can't complain. It was an eBay XCD $75 or $80 freaking clutch, so not too bad. I did foresee this, so I ended up ordering a Clutch Masters FX400, which I'll show you in a minute, ahead of time. And I figure, you know what, I'm in the spirit, I'll just do it this way. Let me show you the iffy setup I got going on. Heavy duty jack stands up front, and I've got 2 tons in the back, but it kind of worries me, so I got my wheels underneath just in case something happens, just as a safety precaution. But we got to start by bolting the exhaust, and then we got to unbolt the drive shaft, and then got to see if we can even get to the bolts here. I'm gonna try it, but let's do it. Just to take the exhaust off, you've got 3 bolts here on the factory white pipe. I'm not sure about aftermarket ones, but they should be generally in the same location. So we got 3 bolts there, and we've got like 2 or 3 exhaust hangers. And then next step is probably to take the drive shaft out. You've got these bolts here. You got 4 of them. So take those off. I think they're like 12s. I'll double check that. But yeah, it would help. It sucks, but you're gonna need 2 bottoms. Put it in gear so it doesn't turn. Take that off. Put it in neutral, spin it around, and take that off. So let's get that drive shaft out and then see if we can even get to the bell housing bolts before I start unbolting the trans cross member here. Drive shaft is out. Everything's freed up for the most part. I took the slave off real quick. I'm seeing quite a few leaks. I'm kind of worried. We'll figure out where that's coming from. Maybe the front input shaft seal, because I replaced the rear main. It's not oil, I don't think. Yeah, it smells like trans fluid, so we'll see. All right, so you've got the bell housing bolts here on the bottom. You've got a ground here. And then you've got the 2 starter bolts there, and then on the other side, luckily last time I did trans, I didn't put the top bolts in because I knew I would have to pull it very soon, and I don't really see the need for the top bolts. They're not as important as the rest of them. So just to save yourself a headache, you can do that, or you can just, you know, be safe and run all of them, up to you. But we got to get those out. The toughest one's probably going to be getting to the starter bolt on the top, but everything else is accessible from the side. And then you got the trans bolts here. So I might just take these off now, just so that I can jack the motor down, and I can probably get those bolts a little bit easier. So let's do that and see where we go from there. As a reference, I'm putting the bell housing bolts in order. Right side of the trans, bottom 2, and then the left side of the trans on the bottom side. These are 17s, those were 19s, and then you've got the one that goes to the ground here. I think that's 17. Another one going in from the motor side to the back next to the header. And then I've got the 2 starter bolts, and that should be it. It's one thing I almost forgot. Before you drop the trans, make sure you take the shifter off. I think this should just pop right out, so you pop it out. Take obviously the shift knob off, take the boot off, and then you should be able to just take the shifter off of the shifter housing, and it's free to go. Just as kind of an overview here, just take off the trans shifter bolts here. For me, it's the Allen head kit with the Q speed shifter, but take those out, and then shifter's free, and then we can drop the trans. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the condition of the clutch in a minute. Just remove the pressure plate there. Got the bolts there, should be 12s, and then you need a 13 millimeter 12-point socket and a 1/2-inch drive for the flywheel bolts if you went ARP. But take this off. What I did was I pretty much just wedged a pry bar thingy right here, so it would stop it from moving this way, and then got it loose. You just got to do the opposite on the other way when you tighten them back up. But yeah, take those off, and then we're going to use a bearing puller to pull the pilot bearing out. My rear main looks good. I did it like 10,000 miles ago, so we should be good there. If yours is leaking, definitely recommend replacing it now. Definitely the easiest way or easiest time to do it. But I got a little slide hammer tool from Harbor Freight, borrowed from a buddy of mine. Basically goes in, then you screw this part in, it flares out on the inside, and then it's got a slide hammer like this, so super handy. So we're going to take that out, put the new one in. It should be about flush as it is. for the new one, and then we're gonna put the flywheel on. All right, guys, new flywheel is on. This is from Rockauto. I think it was about like $80. It's by Sachs for an SC300 manual, and straightforward. Everything's pretty good. I did about 85 foot-pounds. Make sure you do star pattern. There's 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then now we're gonna put the, I guess, clutch first, and then the pressure plate. Don't forget to clean off your surface there, because I was touching it with my hands, greasy hands. So clean that off so you get the most adhesion, friction whenever you're breaking in the clutch. Here's a closer look at the FX400 clutch kit by Clutch Masters. I think this is rated for over 400 torque, so if this thing slips, I've got something else going on with the bell housing setup and the clutch fork, but we should be fine. It looks really good. I drove one, a 3 Series with it, and it was very drivable at the track. No street drive experience, but we're about to find out because I street drive the IS quite a bit. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Put that thing on, make sure to put it in backwards. Should be like that. This way, I believe. Yep, because you see a little indentation there. Or you want it to be on the other side of the flywheel because you want the clutch to be flush there. So the pressure plate here, I believe the specs are like 14 to 20 foot-pounds. One key or one little tip that I've got is with the clutch alignment tool. Kind of want to angle it up a little bit so that when it tightens down, it'll be flush like this, so it's, you know, it goes in and out without any hesitation. If there is, redo it. I swear it's gonna make putting the trans in way easier. But yeah, that should be straightforward. So let's put that thing in there and see what she looks like. All right, here's the Clutch Master kit installed here. Side note, I brake cleaned the whole thing and looks like the paint's coming off, so be careful on that. But the little tool I was talking about to use, obviously you'll need it to put the clutch in, but just make sure literally it'll go in like butter, like literally no resistance at all. This will make, I promise you, putting the transmission in so easy, at least to get it aligned wise. This gonna be a pain in the butt, but we'll figure it out. So yeah, just make sure it goes nice and smooth in, no problem there. Yep. And then I torqued these down to 20. I think factory is like 14. But I'm gonna go a little bit tighter just in case, because I will be banging on it quite a bit. So I did 20 foot-pounds all around, star pattern. Make sure that this is going in smoothly. Now we're going to go over to the trans. I'll show you guys when I pull it out under the car, or from under the car. But I've got a leak, so let's look at that real quick. All right, here's my trans. It's a Mark III W58 SC300 fork, throw out, and then just like an eBay bell housing. It works. Everything seems fine here. This is the movement you want, but tricky part is trying to get the clip in. So just as a reference, here's what it looks like. I think the input shaft seal's leaking, or the gasket on the outside holding the front cover may be compromised as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean it up, and then I'm going to probably RTV it and then put a new seal in there to hopefully keep it from leaking. So we got the surrounding of the cover off, and here's the cover. Cleaned it up, put the new seal in right there. See if we can focus there. Awesome. That, by the way, it was a pain in the butt to get the old one in there. I guess that one was in forever and it just was seized in there. So I kind of had to carefully kind of tap in flathead kind of on the outside without trying to damage it. Try to get it out. But yeah, we cleaned the surfaces best we could. I don't really have that many tools. It'd be nice if I could like sand this down real quick, but it'll do fine. It's just RTV, so we should be all right. We're basically gonna RTV all around where the holes go, all the way around here on the outside, and then we are going to put this on. So let's do it. All right, guys, a little bit of fast forward. I just went ahead and installed the transmission with everything in. Literally, I did it no problem as long as I had my feet first coming this way towards the camera, putting the bell housing on my chest, and then lifting it up kind of like this to get this part over the hump of the header. where the cats are, and then rested it, took a break, then put it back up and kind of over, and it fit right in. I guess I got lucky, the splines were in the right place, and it literally was perfect. So that was pretty easy, not too bad. And then I got my trans cross member here put together. I got the slave set up. Is kind of ghetto, but it works. I've got some shims on the back end. Like I said, it's an eBay setup, so as long as you have play, you know, and it's not like always pressed in, you should be good to go. So cool. Otherwise, I think that's about it. We're gonna be putting the dry shaft in, and then the trans fluid, I got Redline MT90. The only other thing is I want to do the LSD while everything's kind of put together or torn apart. So I'm gonna start doing that. That'll probably be the next video here, but I will skip forward as far as this video goes to when the LSD is done, if I can get to it, and then to getting the drive shaft in, getting the top shifter stuff squared away with the fluid already in it, and let it ride. Right, guys, just finished the diff. That'll be the next video for that. Drive shaft is in. Torque those to 55 foot-pounds or so. Then I'm using Redline MT90 for the transmission. Got a little fill hole plug thing on the side there. Normally you just fill till it leaks out of there. I already emptied 2 quarts. This one's just a spare I had a little bit of, so I put like maybe 2 2/4 or 2.5, I guess that means. But still don't need, I'm gonna need a little bit more, but yeah, that's about it. And then we just gotta go inside and do the shifter and see if she runs. Last but not least, we got the shifter. Same thing, just the L wrenches to get it in there, align the little bushing. We're gonna take care of this probably in a little while. For now, I just want to make sure I did everything right. So put that in, and then I guess we'll just try and start, I guess. I do have to do the motor mounts next, but I just want to make sure it actually rolls on its own power. Initial impressions of a clutch setup here. Super easy to drive. I honestly don't believe or can't believe it's a freaking puck setup, but yeah, literally hopefully this light will turn green. Here we go. So super easy, no shutters. Look, literally feels like a regular ass clutch, for real. I'm absolutely impressed. I think maybe the first few drives, a little bit of shutters, but once I got used to it, super easy. I gotta say, it's way better than the XTD setup. It just feels so much better quality. Like, and I know it's an eBay clutch, but I didn't think it'd be that much different because a puck is a puck. But it's a sprung clutch setup, very light, honestly. Also, the throw is just so light. Honestly, I'd assume it feels like an OEM clutch because it's super light. They have some sort of like a FAQ description that I looked up, what they decided to do with that. Maybe I'll put it up here. But yeah, basically super easy to drive, barely any shutters. I can't wait to get the OEM clutch pedal in, because I will say this one just feels completely weird, but for what it is, it's not too bad. It got me going. So just for longevity, I decided to order a OEM clutch setup from Japan that I followed a video on, which I'm gonna have the link to the description. It was like $160 shipped to me. It was super cheap, so we'll see if that all works. But yeah, overall pretty impressed. I also got to cut that brake pedal. Brake pedal is pretty ugly, but once I get the OEM clutch pedal in there, I'll do it right. Super easy to drive. Anyways, like I said, super easy to drive. Love this clutch. I think it was like $500 total for everything. and honestly, so worth it. This clutch feels so good. I'll be breaking it in. It needs about 500 street miles, not just highway. It needs to be stop and go, and you know, just a bunch of random scenarios. So yeah, after that, my first hopefully drift event is next month. That's when I'll completely be able to kind of test it out. But yeah, I guess we'll wait for that. But so far, it feels good. The clutch with the BRZ diff, with new fluids and new motor mounts, dang, this thing feels real good. It really does. So I love this thing. If you don't have many options, I did it on the ground. Obviously, you might not have the exact setup that I've got, but for what it is, pretty straightforward to do. So yeah, I guess otherwise that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Definitely pretty impressed with this setup, especially with the flywheel and clutch just mating so well. Just no shutters or anything weird. So yeah, thanks for watching.